Om Swastiastu. My name is Made Chakra. I come from Pongo Second Village, which is in the middle of Ubud. Happy Earth Day, everyone. Normally, during the normal time, Earth Day, I'll be selling my farm produce and my tools at the. We normally create like a farmers market during the Earth Day, but of course we're not allowed so today due to of course the Mother Nature get a little angry with us. So I'm Chakra. I'm the founder of Hita Karana Bali Foundation. I always wanted a foundation or some kind of organization that aiming toward sustainability and thriving, because I was born in a real paradise, and I was one of the many, I guess, Balinese boy that still during the time in my childhood I've seen the real paradise where everything done so natural. Everything was so natural. The house built with bamboo and with natural mud, and so it was the real paradise. And there was so much biodiversity, and the island is so rich. And this is before the world went crazy, So it was a really a beautiful time, especially my childhood is growing up with growing rice and all the biodiversity also that growing in the rice field, like eel, fish, and frog and snail and cricket, grasshoppers. All those are really rich, and you cannot. Impossible to think that you're going to starve because you are born in such an abundance. And of course, and then the world went crazy, and then the chemical agriculture and the hybrid culture came to my village, and I don't know why, but it came to the village, and where everything is basically sterilized. The environment are being sterilized. All the like eels and the frogs and the snail and the fish are disappear, and I never understand why these are allowed. And I was so sad with it. And I remember the really nasty experience where I've seen my favorite birds were dying on this. All over in the village, and all the eels were floating dead and smelly, all the frogs and all the fish, because all these chemicals that farmers now use. It's crazy. It's just, this is a crazy world, and I think everyone's still remember. Mother Nature keep reminding us and give us this warning. For example, you still remember the Ebola outbreak. I think it was 1988. Sierra Leone was hit very strongly. Many people died, and then 2007, if I'm not mistaken, there was also the bird flu. So, and of course the recent one, which is the corona. So Mother Nature have this pattern and always kind of reminding us and keep reminding us. And every time it's getting worse and worse, because we have to, this is a big lesson. So I think we have to define our needs, and we have to, we have to do, in the future, we have to do business that more like meaningful business, more like sharing, and more like how can we do business or whatever we do, but minimizing our impact, and also more like sharing our profit, because the reality is that the poor, the uneducated one, that's the one that's really do a lot of I don't know how to say, but more in desperate situation. And just to share with you what happened in my farm recently, I have 3 farms, and I grow my own red rice, and I grow my own fruits, and also I grow a lot of vegetables, and recently I so on my farm there's just so many people coming to the farm. They just wanted to I guess they're so desperate that they come to my farm and just pick whatever they can. And it was really hard for me to say no, because I know, because Bali, probably like 95% Bali economy is dependent on tourism. So it's like a mono economy, Bali economy is mono economy. So when there is no tourists, everybody so desperate, and like people, so many, especially today because of the lockdown, and so all hotels are shut down, everything is shut down, and thousands of people lost their jobs, and you can imagine what happened to the family. They and also I know so many guys that were just buying a new car and paying on little bit of money, and then they hoping that with before the corona, with the business that are happening in Ubud, and they thought that they can pay the debt because they drive tourists around. So many people are borrowing money and getting new cars, and then the shutdown happened. So it's really scary, and I think this is a big lesson for us, that we should do more sustainable businesses. So when I saw all these people on my farm, and they pick a lot of the vegetables, and what can you say? I just say that maybe you pick just what enough for you, and I don't tell them no. I just say that to them that pick whatever enough for you, and then there's a lot more other people will come, and even people from my village come to my farm, and so it's really a desperate situation, and I think also this teaches us that you can't put your eggs on one basket, something like that, or we have to learn other way of surviving rather than just tourism industry. So we have an idea now, because we have no idea. First, we have no idea how long this will be. And nobody knows how long the lockdown will be, and nobody knows how long the local people with waiting and with no job. So I think it will be a useful idea if we get together and we grow food on community's land, and some people already come up with some ideas that we should starting to grow our own food, and more healthier food, and so then we take care of the people that are desperate people, and also it's just doing more social things, I mean, for example, my farm already doing it naturally, because people just automatically come, because what can they do? I mean, as you know, we lost so many agricultural land, in average like 500 hectares in 1 year, and also the worst one is in 2003. We lost 3,000 hectares of our rice field into villas or resort, and now it's a big problem, because you can't grow back the rice on the cement, because even like a lot of these rice fields now becoming like houses or villas or hotels, and many of these farmers that now that's converted into a taxi driver or any work that involving tourism industry, now that they can't make any money, and they wish that they never convert their land in the first place. And so this is a really difficult situation, and how can we grow back the rice, and how can we how can we bring how can we grow food so that's enough for everybody? So in the beginning I was always worried, because I always every now and then, every time I have some money, I always wanted to spend on new farm or buying new land just to make to grow food. But sometimes I get quite worried, like what happened if one day the world broken, the system are not working anymore, and people get desperate. How will I protect my farm? That fear was always with me for a long time, and then today is happening. Today, just people, because I understand the difficult situation, and people just come to your farm, and what can you do? I mean, they come and take whatever they need, and I can't say no. And also because anyhow, we used to sell about 30 kgs of vegetables every 2 days, and different restaurant came to us and buying our veggies. So also, it's for me, I think it's a good karma, since I cannot sell it anymore to the restaurant, because as you know, the restaurant are shut down because of the lockdown. So it's okay for the people to come to my farm, but I'm just thinking, how can we do this in more sustainably? Because I can't really afford that, these people just coming to pick, and maybe we create something like they should come not just to pick the vegetable, but also help to create it. And so I hope this is coming soon, because more and more people get desperate, and more people will realize that they define that they need, and then so we get more and more people willing to help us at the farm and grow the healthy organic food, and then they can share. I don't know what else we can do, and because there's so many desperate people around Ubud, because Ubud is I guess close to 100% dependent on tourism industry. So we got to find a solution. This is like this is Mother Earth give us a big slap, and we have to be more careful. We have to be more responsible of our act, and I think a lot of these viruses come from how much we pollute the world, and how much we exploit Mother Earth. I heard that 2 days before the corona outbreak in Wuhan, there were the Dutch scientists found corona already exists in the black water. This typical human, when we have our waste, and we like to just get rid of it by just flushing the toilet, and then we think as soon as it disappears from our sight, we think it's fine. But you can imagine what happened to these pathogens in the black water, and they crossbreed, and they're multiplying, and then this is what happened. Nature tell us that we can't any longer keep polluting our environment, our planet. So, but it's a very simple way. We from Hita Karana Bali Foundation, we found a way to really minimize pathogen in black water, and that is very simple by adding the earthworm into the system. We have already designed many of these, and more people now is aware about the being responsible and trying to not to pollute the environment. It's very simple system, and but I hope one day that will be the standard. You know, how do we as a human be more responsible and manage our resources, our natural resources, so then it's lasting for our children and our grandchildren. Because in Bali we don't say the land is your inheritance. We don't say that. We only borrowing it. We only borrow the land from our children and from our grandchildren. So when we return it, when we give it to them, and how can we give it back to them in more better and more productive and more healthier? So I think this is our responsibilities as the mature people today, or the parent, that we have to create a better environment for our future and for the children. So I strongly believe nature has pattern. As you can see, from 1988, the Ebola outbreak in Sierra Leone, and in 2007 we have the bird flu, and so this is like a reminder of Mother Earth, like, we have to be awake, and now we should do more like sustainable businesses, or what is the word, where you are trying to minimize your impact into Mother Nature. So whatever you do, so we have, for example, we have many projects. We thought it was great project, for example, like agricultural land conservation, because we know in 2012 Indonesian government that passed new law about CSR, corporate social responsibility. So the new law was every businesses must have a CSR program. So we thought we set up a conservation, agricultural land conservation. We call it Sawah Bali, and the idea is that so if you have a hotel in the middle of the field, so their responsibility is that to buy the produce from all around the hotels. Therefore, they're not importing, or they're not buying it from far away to minimize pollution. And then also it's win-win solution. For example, like if the hotel support the farms around the hotel, that the hotel will for sure that no new structure will be happening, because the farmers is happy farming if they earn enough money. So if the hotel want to buy it with a fair price, so farmers could survive, farmers will keep farming. So you have win-win solution, and you have the hotel getting more prestige there, because there's no more construction will be happening around it, and plus you have happy farmers that growing the organic food for the hotel. So we were trying to do this in starting like 2012, and we were not so successful with it. But I hope today, from this lesson, the big slap from the Mother Earth with the virus, and people think more about this, and people willing to do more. It's not just money, but willing to do something more like a meaningful business, and how can we support each other, and how can we help each other. So this will be so wonderful. As you know, in Bali there are thousands of hotels, and if every hotels are responsible for the farm that's around them, will be a absolutely great solution. As you know, when we're doing this with Sawah Bali, we were trying to sell the rice from the farmers. So then we're just trying to make the farmers to earn enough money. The problem with the modern farming today, with the chemicals and all the hybrid, the farmers just become slave because they earn absolutely nothing. You know, if you grow rice, like today, if you grow rice in a rice field, like if you grow hybrid and chemical rice, the farmers will only earn under $2 a day. And farmers, of course, as you know, they have wife, they have family, they have children. Earning $2 a day is not possible to support all those, all the families, you know. And so, as a result, farmers are leaving the rice field because there's no more money. It used to be our backbone income. We used to grow rice, 100% income supporting the family. But because of the chemicals and the hybrid rice, and of course, when the economic crisis in 2008, the world was experiencing the economic crisis. So Indonesian government decided to cut the subsidies on fertilization and the chemicals for the farmers. This is when a really difficult time start, because the price become like double, you know, even triple. So growing chemical rice becoming really expensive, and as a result, farmers leaving their rice field, and they all converted into taxi drivers for tourists, or some labor at the construction site, and any job but farming, because farming no more money. And so this is, as a result, Bali losing like, you know, up to 3,000 hectares of rice field per year. So because farmers now changing into working in the tourism industry, and then now what happened? Now no more tourism industry. Farmers had already sold their land and buying the car to drive the tourists. Now they have no more land, and you know, and then they still owe some money to pay for the cars, and now there's no job. So we are in a very difficult and desperate situation. So my suggestion is we just start to grow our own food, and I think we got, you know, even with a little space at your home, and you still can grow food, and you can using vertical spacing, or you can grow food on your rooftop. And I think we have many people now have no option but to do that, because otherwise you can't survive. I mean, you know, you have no more rice field, and you have no more job, and then, you know, you have all this bill to pay. It's hard. It's a hard situation. So I think we should, there are many empty land in the villages that belong to community land, and I think people should decide to make that land into more you know, productive, making like community garden where we can share in the villages, and or if we have surplus, we could basically trade them in with the next villages. And so this is how Bali used to be. You know, Bali was there was the sustainable center. When we have this life guide, we call it the Hita Karana, which came from a Sanskrit word. The 3 paths you must accomplish in order to be happy and prosperity. And these 3 paths are harmony with human being, harmony with nature, and harmony with spirituality. So that's a very old but a very, very truth example of Bali life guide. And yeah, it's true, Bali used to be covered in the rice field and forest, and a small piece of area where there's villages, and and you don't. There's no road connecting one village to the next one, because we just live among the rice field, and we're surrounded by rice field. But we are thriving. We not just survive, but we're thriving, and all those rituals that we're able to do sustainably. We have no connection with other neighboring village or even the islands, but we're able to survive. And this is a very, very good example of not just sustainability, but the regeneration. We have to learn this from our old farmers, and because today, as you know, farmers don't really understand their soil, but in those days, farmers are really connected to the soil. They know the smell of the soil, they know the color of the soil, and they know the nature, the pattern of nature, when to grow, what kind of plants. So the old system is allowing the land to grow what the land wants to grow, and this is the best way. Because today, what happened to the farmers is forcing the land to grow what we want to grow, and this will create a lot of problem. This will create a lot of intensive work and very high external input. So we need to I say we need to go back, but not many people don't want to go back. But what we need to do is we need to go forward with the old knowledge, that how farmers and understand the soil and the quality of the soil, and understand when to grow, what kind of plant. So we need to dig this knowledge back, the very valuable knowledge, because today, as you know, all the rice fields are depleted. The land in the rice field are basically dead, because because 40 years of toxic, 40 years of chemicals input, creating a dead soil, and we need to rebuild this. And we have also, Balinese have a saying that if you have if it's good under, is good over, meaning that if your land are fertile, normally the people above it also prosper. And so let's start with be more responsible, because this is a big lesson from Mother Earth. So be more responsible for our act, and define our need. What is our need? So really define our need and go to the simplest and the best solution. So that's all I can say. Om Santi 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 Om.